Hey everybody, welcome to Get to Know Your Wedding Pro. My name is Reed with Best Made Videos. We are a wedding videography company based out of West Seattle, Washington. And I'm so excited today to be joined by Kaycee Nichole of Flau'Jae Couture. I told her I would be so afraid that I would butcher that name. I have a terrible time with the words sometimes. But thank you so much for coming on and taking the time today. Why don't you introduce yourself, tell us who you are and what you do.
Thank you for having me. My name is Kaycee Nichole. I am the owner of Flau'Jae Couture Hair Extensions for Brides. And yeah, that's me.
I love it. Where does the name come from?
Actually, it's French, and we were actually originally Flawless Couture, and it just didn't really kind of sit well with me for a while, and it kind of just came up to be Flau'Jae, just take out the list and just put J in there. And that's how it came to be.
It's definitely something you can say with some sass and some power. You know what I mean?
Definitely. Brides really like to say it a lot. I've noticed once they've purchased, they love to tell people, "Oh, I purchased from Flau'Jae Couture," and they just like how it starts to roll off their tongues, I think.
That's awesome. So walk me through, first off, I've been going through your site since we've, started talking a week or so. I can't remember how long it's been since we've been going to schedule this. Talk about kind of what you guys do and the services and everything in that regard.
So we're a bit different. We provide more so the beauty aspects of the bridal process. Most of our brides used to come with hair extensions and have me style it and install it for them before their wedding. And I decided to do it on my own. Why don't you buy my hair and you get a free install? And it just kind of worked out from there. And then I wanted to do it a little bit different, take it a step forward, and offer something that brides could keep, something like a gift that would just keep on giving. And so I decided to offer them this premium hair in this beautiful box that they could customize and keep for their own, their own purposes, and store their wedding photos or their garter or whatever they might have from their wedding day. And one day, a bride was like, "Oh, I gave it to my bridesmaid." And I asked her to be my bridesmaid. And so I said, "This is what it is. It's a proposal box." And it went from there. And it's just been a crazy downhill, fast going thing that just took off that I'm really thankful for, of all the support. We do things from hair extensions, eyelashes, wigs for brides who have cancer or other hair loss problems. We've just started offering wigs for men who want hair on their wedding day. So, we're branching out towards the grooms and the groomsmen's, and it's been great. It's been real fun. I enjoy it.
That's so funny. I remember back one of the first weddings I ever did, because I was famously very not well prepared to enter the wedding world. I really didn't know a lot about any of this sort of stuff, many years ago. And my wife's friend got married, and we were doing their video, and my wife was a bridesmaid. And I remember that was my first, was her friend was getting hair extensions, put in, and that was really growing up only with a brother and not really being in that world. That was really my first kind of experience with that at all. And it was such an interesting, I just had no idea about it. And then to know obviously that this is like this whole world that I was just so ignorant about. It really is. Is it just gotten bigger in the last few years? Talk about just how widespread, kind of is this industry that you're in.
So, it's actually been, before I got in here, it's been around for years, 20, 30 years. Hair extensions have been the number one go-to for women if you need length, if you need volume for just about any occasion. Even women after their wedding day, they can keep their extensions up to 6 weeks installed. So it goes to having something for a special occasion to having it on a day-to-day basis. And we offer all sorts of extensions for just about anybody. So when I entered, It was a big world for me too. There are millions of hair extension vendors all over the world. And then you also have scammers all over the world as well. So it took a while to find the right vendor and develop that relationship to where we could offer our brides the best quality hair extensions.
And how has that gone about? I mean, how do you feel really great, obviously, with your supply chain and everything now and the product that you offer? I mean, how much work was that to really make sure that's all in place?
That actually took about 1.5 to 2 years to really lock down the person we have right now and the supplier we have. And that's because it took a lot to find someone who offered the longer lengths. We have a few brides that in their wedding traditions, they have long hair, cathedral veils, some veils going all the way up to 45 inches to 50 inches, and they want hair that long. So it took a long time to find a vendor that matched our budget, as well as our request for quality. But we found it. Now we offer extensions all the way up to 80 inches.
Well, that's that seems like a lot, but obviously there's a demand. I mean, I'm a bald man. I don't know very much about this.
And that's also another thing. It took a while. It's actually taken us 3.5 years to find hair for men that we could style just about any way you want it to be styled for all ethnic backgrounds. But there is a very high demand for those as well.
That's awesome. And when you're talking about, the quality and everything, and I was going to say too, even just kind of, looking through the site and seeing everything, it's very well presented. I look at a lot of, wedding vendor websites and stuff. Talk about just kind of the importance for you of that, of, good presentation, being able to back, obviously the product you guys are giving out. Where does that, because not everyone that runs a business, right, knows how to like present or look well. So talk about, really being mindful of that.
Well, it all started with which platform we were going to go with. And we tried a lot. I've built a few websites in my day. In fact, I've actually built a few wedding sites in my day, and things change on the daily. So in the end, we ended up going with a Shopify platform, and it's been heaven sent. We are able to upload things at the drop of a dime when it comes to new inventory. And then it's also the layout. That was really important. We didn't want it to be so much of a store. When you go online, all you see is product, 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 product. We wanted it to be soft. We wanted it to be inviting for brides. We wanted it to be visual when they first got on to the homepage. And then we also wanted to offer different blogs that they could reference to for their big day. So we want to make it as interactive as possible without having that overbearing of product choices. Even though we do offer a lot, we just didn't want it to seem like it's overwhelming, because planning a wedding is already overwhelming. We didn't want to add the stress.
Yeah, it's so tough with that. And we've talked, vendor types across the board of, people just don't even know really what's going on until they enter this world. And then it's like, whoa, okay, what's going on? Okay, what does this cost or what does that cost? And so, yeah, it is important to make sure that, you show kind of what you have without being like, oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Exactly. And I've planned some weddings in the past as a day of coordinator. We've done destination weddings in the past where we send a stylist out, so it's stressful no matter how you plan it, what type of wedding. It's a whole new world. You might as well play Aladdin in the background because that's what it is.
So talk to me about your background, and you've kind of, dropped a bunch of tidbits and on your website too, and, talking about being an entrepreneur and everything. Walk me through, go back and where did this drive and motivation and everything come from?
Well, I was living in Oklahoma for a few years, probably 12 to be exact. And ended up planning a wedding for a friend, and not so much planning it, it was more so to help her the day of. And I loved it. It was easy. I had the natural skills to really help her where it was needed. And so she referred me, and then that person referred me, and then it just kind of went on from there as the day of coordinator lady. If you want somebody to, help you with your scheduling, if you want to help with your vendors, payments, whatever it might be, so that you and your family can enjoy the day, I just sort of became that person. And it went from there. And I love it. I do it from time to time for certain occasions, but that's not my main focus. The company for hair extensions is really my main focus. I had to choose, and I chose the beauty aspect of it.
Yeah, what was it like? And I've said on the podcast before, and even today, like I knew nothing about anything. Kind of entering that, was that a new world for you to be involved in that? Were you used to kind of managing different times and expectations and stuff, or what was it like, kind of being put in that role if you weren't really used to that?
I have a strong background in administration. And so I was able to use a lot of those skills to kind of organize. And then it became making relationships with different vendors so that, a bride might be able to get a discount here and there, or, she might get a free tour of something, or just something that would give her that extra VIP feel. And so it was a bit of a challenge because I didn't know who to reach out to, who was the good vendor, who was the bad vendor. I say it all the time, thank God for Facebook groups like yours, because it really gives us new people that enter this industry a heads up versus, 10, 15 years ago when Facebook really didn't exist. It was all legwork. You had to get the phone book out. You had to search websites, so it's a lot easier now, I think, to get into this industry than before.
No, it is. It's, and we've talked about that. I've talked about that with tons of people, and the accessibility now, of being able to, reach people. And like you said, like, post in a group and get whatever. I mean, it's so much different than even, when I was getting into it 7 years ago, and like you just had to post on Craigslist like everybody else.
Yeah.
Now, it's just I think some people take it for granted now. They go, "Oh wow, there's a Facebook group with 3,000 brides, and I can just post in there, like everybody will see it." And they're all, it's like, yeah, we used to have to, like, it was way different, like even not even that long ago,
I remember Craigslist. I remember those brides posting ads and looking for services and vendors posting on there. And, you just go, you have to type in searching in the search group for wedding vendors to see who would pop up. And now Facebook has really got a curb on that. So I like it. I'm thankful for it. Now that we are in a different city, that I'm able to get my name out there a little bit more quicker.
Yeah, you talk about, you moved from Oklahoma back out here. What is it like? I always ask people that are in, a different wedding, if you're doing weddings, somewhere else and then Seattle, what was it like, differences, between the two? And then what was it like kind of entering the Seattle wedding community that it is, today?
Well, Oklahoma is definitely smaller. I'm not going to say it's all country. It's definitely a lot of do-it-yourself brides, which I respect. I respect any woman who takes on that challenge. And then you also have a lot of outdoor weddings, and then a lot of church weddings. And so it's different. It's a different lifestyle out there. Not a lot of break away from tradition. And we love unique brides. I love someone who comes to tell me they're having a theme wedding, in the winter, or, they're having a destination wedding. I love that. Or who's going to have pink hair for their wedding, or green hair. That's amazing. That's not something you see a lot of in Oklahoma. So I'm grateful that we were able to come out here and break into a very open space of unique brides and unique weddings. It is, of course, a larger group of competition, but there's a place for everyone here, and there's enough brides for everyone. So I like it. I'm grateful. It's been very accepting. A lot of the salons that we had visited before all this kind of shut down, which we were only able to visit a few, were very welcoming, very welcoming. So I love it.
Yeah, it's tough. This time has definitely kind of put a hamper on, lots of plans for lots of different things, from, I can't remember. I think a couple of the podcasts we've done lately, are newer, vendors here or people that were wanting to expand, this thing or that thing. And it is so hard right now to not be able to network, in ways that we could traditionally, expect to do in the last couple of years.
That is true. That is true. Even on the website, we're able to kind of see, where we get a lot of our hits, and not a lot are really in the U.S. right now. But most of where we do see the hits are countries and places that are opened up and able to hold weddings again. So we'll see what happens in the coming months.
You talked about really, making sure, making, the brides and everybody, that works for you and grooms too, but, really, giving them that plush, take care of them, make sure they know, it's their day, whatever. I mean, talk about just, wanting that customer service you guys want to provide and where does that come from and how do you, the different ways that you act to kind of, make sure that happens.
We always want to make the bride feel special. And going through the whole beauty, mask of it all, you think of relaxation when you think of going to the hair salon or the nail salon. It's a spa experience. So if we're going to market these hair services and these facial services, for your big day, we want to make sure that the bride is relaxed. We want to make sure she's comfortable and happy with her product. We want to make sure that she feels extraordinarily beautiful when she leaves our chairs. That's our main focus. That's our only focus. And so far that's been working for us. Referral after referral is what we get. And that's what we love. That's what we strive for. I love it to get those pictures from brides that we've had, from 2 years ago, still able to wear their wig, and still able to wear their extensions, and they might still have their keepsake box, and we really enjoyed those type of experience, because that's something that I cherish, is when someone can contact me 2 years after their wedding and say, hey, we still have this product. It's amazing. I still love you. Thank you so much. That to me is success. It's not the amount of money you make. It's not the amount of products you sold. It's who still remembers you 2 years after a purchase. That's success for us.
As kind of a serial entrepreneur that's done a lot of different interesting things, a lot of things with weddings, but regardless, what are some lessons you've learned or things that advice you would give to other entrepreneurs and especially female entrepreneurs? I mean, so blessed on here that most of the people we talk to are women-owned businesses and people that are really smart in what they do. And what are some things that you've learned or advice that you would want to give out?
Oh man, if you have an idea, run with it. You never know, that might be an idea that someone needs or wants. I think we've seen so many entrepreneurs that have come up with products and services that you just wouldn't think anybody needs. But, when you go down the bread aisle, you see so many breads, but people still buy bread. So there's enough for everyone. And I just would say, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid at all. Just take that jump, go with it. If it doesn't work, Try the next idea. If that doesn't work, keep going. Keep going, keep going, keep going, because not everyone has that entrepreneur bug. But if you do, then go with it. Nurture it, let it grow, do what you can to own whatever it is you might want to own. A business, a store, whatever it might be. Definitely let it grow.
What was the hardest thing about starting this new endeavor and getting into this? Maybe something that you thought would be easier, or what's been the most challenging thing?
Oh, the most challenging thing has been social media. I'm not old, but I'm not young. I remember MySpace. And I remember now what it was trying to teach us all. It was trying to teach us all how to code. I wish I'd paid attention more. But social media has really been the hardest thing for me. And I think it's because social media changes daily. Facebook changes daily. Instagram changes daily. And if you are growing a social media platform organically, it is tough. I do recommend taking classes on YouTube if you can, or through a technical school, or if you can, if it's in your budget, hire someone. It's been a lifesaver now that I have found a company that's able to take over it, but that was the hardest part was keeping up with social media. As a business owner, I just couldn't do it. There just wasn't enough time.
No, I remember, and like you said, it's so frustrating because it changes so often. I remember there was a time maybe 6 months ago when even like posting these podcasts every week, like we weren't able to tag like business pages anymore or like something. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's so asinine. Like you almost just have to like walk away and you're just like here, and especially where a lot of us are like, really hardworking single business owners or, starving entrepreneur, kind of whatever. And then you're sitting here and it's like, even you spend all this time trying to get it going. And then like the platform just doesn't work. And it's like, it's infuriating when you've tried so hard to like, build stuff up through that.
Oh yeah, I agree. And then you have to decide, which platform are you going to focus on? Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, there's just so many. And Pinterest now even is another one for business owners. So it's just a lot. And I would definitely suggest for entrepreneurs and business owners, don't stress over it. If you can, try to put that load onto another employee or another company that handles stuff like that.
Do you find that you're able to delegate that way? I'm someone that I have a terrible time being able to hand off responsibilities like that. Is that something, are you able to do that?
It's taken some time for me to comfortably do that because I've been burned in the past where you hire someone, it just doesn't work out. And you've wasted the time that it takes to train that person. But now that I know what characteristics and what things I need to ask certain people in order to really see if they're going to be the right fit, now it's easy to delegate those things and hand them off. Here you go. This project is for you. As long as you're able to follow directions 1, 2, 3, you should be able to handle this project.
What are some common questions, when people are looking at your services that you find that you're having to answer a lot, or what are things that you wish more people knew about, hair and extensions and things, common kind of pitfalls that you feel like you're answering the same questions over and over again?
Well, unfortunately, you get people who think they know hair. And so the number one common thing I get, is it real hair? Which it is. It's real 100% human hair. You can dye it, cut it, do whatever you need to it. Which also means you have to take care of it like it's human hair. And only on maybe less than 3 occasions have I had someone come back who completely has ruined the hair because they didn't take care of it like human hair. And so we try to educate and give as many resources as we can to brides so that they can keep the hair. It should last you minimum 5 years. If you really know how to take care of it, you can get about a good 7 years on your investment.
Do you find that more people are doing that? I mean, because it's not an inexpensive investment. You know, do you find that people are valuing that?
I do. And I think that comes from how we present it. We present it as a high value investment. From the moment you step onto the website, you can see, okay, this is something that is going to keep me in. I'm going to be drawn into it because they look like they take care of their product. So I want to continue to take care of the product too. And then even with our boxes, our proposal boxes, you know, they're meant to last. They're keepsakes, so they're meant to last. And we want to make sure that whatever you do purchase from us, you have the proper instructions on how to make that happen. You may not know everything about hair, but we're going to give you the resources to make sure that you know how to take care of the hair that you purchased.
Yeah, let's get a little more into the keepsake box. I know you had kind of mentioned that at the beginning and part of the inspiration. Really kind of walk me through that and how that works.
So we have the keepsake box. There are 4 options actually, and they're all magnetic. 2 of the options are customizable. So brides who plan to ask their friends to be their maid of honor or their bridesmaids would go on our website. They would choose a box, enter a name that they would put on the top of the box, and then they would choose from 3 different card options. Will you be my bridesmaid? Will you be my maid of honor? And hello, beautiful. And then they would go and proceed to choose if they want to purchase their, ponytails or a wig or blonde extensions, whichever that might be that they want their maid of honor or bridesmaids look to be for that day. But it's a beautiful proposal box. We have tons of video that we have to go through because we have so many video that they've sent in from asking their friends to be their bridesmaid or their maid of honor. We've had some teary-eyed ones, and then we've had some funny ones that didn't go quite as planned. One that we definitely will end up putting on the website. Unfortunately, they fell in the water and it ruined the box, but the hair was able to be washed and saved, of course. But it was kind of funny, but not funny, because she had set up this beautiful boat thing on the dock, and it had balloons and it had a little red carpet, but the dock wasn't very steady or the wood wasn't very strong, and so it broke and they fell in the water and felt bad. Replaced the box, but that's definitely got to be one that goes on the website. So we have plenty of proposals for brides to look at for resource purposes.
That's awesome. Yeah. Cause everyone is thinking about, the actual proposal, but then obviously, like my wife being asked to be a bridesmaid is a huge honor, and her friend is just going to get married. They're rescheduling because of the outbreak. And,
Right.
But that was a huge honor again. And, my wife's been in a lot of weddings, and you definitely, you want to make sure that that's a special thing that's shared between the bridesmaids,
It is. And a lot of our brides, we've had women who purchase, 10 boxes, with all wigs, that are, all blue to match their dress. We've had women who get the white and black boxes just because they want a little bit more of a classier proposal with, the dresses and the glitz and the glam, so it's just a wonderful presentation. And it's something that we can also be a part of that the bridesmaid or the maid of honor is going to remember. And now that we've kind of horned in on the groomsmen now, we have something really special for them. We're actually going to roll out wood cigar boxes. They won't include hair extensions, but they do have the option, if they want, they can purchase a coupon for that groomsman to come back and purchase hair if he would like. Be discreet about it, of course.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, definitely. I think the cigar box is a fun route. That's definitely something that, guys like to get a little something too. I don't think it's too crazy.
No, no, and since we've rolled out our man wigs, they've been skyrocketing. We're projecting that they're going to be our number one seller here by the end of the year, which is something I didn't think was going to happen in this short amount of time, but it sure has taken off.
Yeah, was that something that you always knew was coming down the pike, or just that you kind of stumbled into? Was that something you had your eye on?
It wasn't something I had my eye on. Although I do know men who mentioned if they had an option, they would go with that, but not enough for me to search for it. And so when the vendor that I went through, brought it up, they're like, oh, yeah, it'll be a good thing. Trust me, it's going to catch on. You want to be ahead of the game. And they were right. It's something that is starting to catch on. It's cheaper than plugs for the men. It's something that if you do have a good barber, they should be able to make this hair into any cut or style that you need. And soon we will start having videos that can show what these man weaves can be cut into.
Fascinating. I love it. I think it's 2020. We gotta experiment with some fun stuff here. I think it's great.
Got to.
You had talked about, kind of a serial entrepreneur, like we said, and being in a lot of stuff, of any industry you could be in the world, right? It's the wedding industry and the beauty. What is it about that excites you or warms your heart, or why, of anything in the world, why be involved in weddings?
When I was a kid, I actually had a dream of two dream jobs as a wedding planner and a travel agent. And I've actually been able to do both. I've been able to kind of hone in only on weddings with travel agents. I've done destination weddings, and then I also do honeymoons. For my destination weddings, I focus a lot more on Disney weddings. So brides who want to get married at Disneyland and have that fairy tale wedding. That's more so my niche. Because it takes a lot of planning, I do not do more than two a year. And that's just because the logistics of it is quite difficult sometimes. For travel agent, who doesn't love to travel? Who doesn't want to book someone's dream vacation or their honeymoon? Again, I like that feeling of when someone can say, hey, I was just going through my pictures and I saw that trip you booked for us a couple of years ago. I got to book another one. I love those type of emails and those type of phone calls.
And so that's still work that you do now too?
That is, again, it's not something I advertise a lot of because then I'll just get overwhelmed with it. But I stick with my Disney planning. I stick with my honeymoons to certain destinations. I am certified to book sandal resorts. I think we've all know about sandals and their commercials. Disney vacations, anywhere you want to go in Aruba, Hawaii, Paris, France, all those places over in the UK I can book to with experience for certain hotels and airlines. So certain places I can do and certain places I can't do.
But it certainly seems like you're no short of energy or the entrepreneurial spirit, right?
Definitely not. I tell people if you are an entrepreneur, you're probably not sleeping because you do have to work harder than the average 9-to-5 person. I do work a 9-to-5. Well, I did before COVID. I am a kindergarten teacher. I'm supposed to start, but school's closed. So I think that was a sign that I should focus more on my businesses and finally take that leap to go full time with my entrepreneur aspects.
Well, as someone whose wife's a teacher as well, that certainly requires a great deal of hard work and patience as well, right?
It does, especially with, them kindergarten kids. They are full of energy. I wish I could find it, bottle it up, and sell it on Amazon.
Yeah, she's a 4 or 5 right now, and she's going to go down to first grade. So getting close there.
Oh man, she's going down. Most people go up.
I know.
She's brave.
Talk about, so focusing on the business, talk about, goals here in the next couple of years, what do you want to see? And I know it's so, unprecedented times right now, but in general, where would you like to see you grow or improve, or what would you like to accomplish next?
Well, we would like to actually have a brick store soon. 2021, 2022 is what we're projecting. It will be a salon boutique dedicated to bridal beauty, nails, hair, facials. We'll have certain unique dresses that will be in-house designers only. And they will not be your traditional dresses. They will all be unique pieces for someone that just wants something that's non-traditional. So the salon and the boutique will probably be upstairs, downstairs type thing, but that's our main goal. That's what we're working towards. And again, hopefully that's going to be within the next 2 years.
That's great. No, I think that's great. And it certainly seems like there's nothing that you couldn't, help conquer with just lots of drive and lots of fun ideas. It's interesting to chat with you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Any other fun stories, tidbits, anything else? But before we let you go, any pressing questions I didn't ask you about?
No. I would just like to say, we'll just, to all the brides and grooms out there, stay safe, stay patient. We all feel for you. We are all with you all and look forward to helping you celebrate your nuptials soon.
That's awesome. No, it's a trying time for everybody on both sides of the the email, right? Whether it's the bride or groom or vendor, whatever side you're on of the wedding planning. It's a tough time right now. If anyone wants to learn more about you and the business and everything you guys offer, where would you have them check out?
You can head to our website, flau'jaecouture.com. That is spelled FLAUJAE couture.com.
And like I said, just a nice, really nicely laid out website, and lots of good information on there and products and everything else. So I think it's important. It's like your virtual storefront, right? And so I think it's a great job you guys have done on that.
Thank you very much. I did that myself. I'm super proud.
That's great. No, like I said, I look at a lot of different, wedding vendor websites a lot, and so it's good to be able to be, oh yeah, okay, like we get everything here. This is great. So
got it. Well, thank you so much.
Well, Kaycee, thank you again for taking the time. As a parent, and with all this going on, I know it's tricky to get everything scheduled, and so I so appreciate everyone taking the time, and especially you today, and coming on and sharing your time with us, and to tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Thank you so much for having me and for wanting to talk about Flau'Jae Couture. I appreciate you. Thank you.
It's always a fun learning experience with something new. And like I said, I was a dummy about this years ago, and continuing to learn more about all the different various aspects of everything, in the weddings and in women and now men. And it's crazy, the hair stuff. It's truly a remarkable time.
It definitely is. I agree.
If you're like Kaycee and you're interested in coming on a future episode of the podcast, you can go to www.bestmadevideos.com/podcast guest. And that's a nice, easy questionnaire that we have laid out. They'll kind of get you in the system. Thank you so much again. This has been another episode of Get to Know Your Wedding Pro. Check back next week for another wedding vendor interview. Thanks so much.